Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Al-Shai, Bashem, Kakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 rest of you looked out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, And He Spake as a Dragon, Jacob's Trouble. And watch the second video. So it says here, in Revelation 13, my favorite prophetic book, Revelation, the beast from the earth, which is different from the beast from the sea, from the first verse of Revelation 13, of course. Revelation 13, 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. We know what that is. That's Babylon. And he had two horns like a lamb. So it was like a lamb. A lamb is a docile creature, and spake as a dragon. So I looked up the word dragon from the Greek word
Strong's G 1404. Drakon.
Drakon. There was a Greek law giver by the name of Draco, I believe his name is. Help me out, y'all. He had a law called a draconian law, where it was you can do you jaywalk, let's say, you can get put to death. You know, that's strict laws. So it says Dracon is a dragon, a great serpent, a name for Satan. What does Revelation 20 verse 1 says? Matter of fact, let's go to that. Revelation 20. And I saw another angel come down from heaven, having the keys of the bottomless pit and the great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon. Same thing, Dracon. That old serpent, that's the meaning of the word dragon. Another name for Satan, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That's how we know it's talking about Esau. That 1,000 years took place. We really ruled for more than 1,000 years, but the 1,000 years takes place from the starting point is when Constantine the Great came into power, all the way up into the mid 1400s into the late 1400s, when they took us down. That was the, when they took us down, or the Byzantine Empire, the Turks, which were led by Edomites, Kazakhs, and so forth, took us down. And at the same time, you had Columbus come to the New World, and he took down the indigenous tribes. Now I went to, let me show you this real quick. Let me go ahead and open up another tab here. To show you that this man is a dragon, because Columbus was killing many, I'll say many, I'm not going to give an exact number, but ultimately thousands of, and it became in the millions when the rest of the Edomites came over here. They killed millions of the indigenous people of North, Central, and South America. In Canada, you had Gad. It's a big stretch of land right there. Canada, it was Gad all throughout Canada. You had Reuben and Gad in North America, the U.S., and you had the rest of the Northern Kingdom in Central and South America. So they ultimately killed millions of them and killed millions of the kingdom of Judah. So I just want to show you something. Christopher Columbus said, "I did not put my sword down for 1 hour." The quote you provided, "I did not put my sword down for 1 hour," is not a verified Christopher Columbus. It appears to be a misattribution or fabricated quote, personally conflicted. I did not put my sword down, not for an hour. Let's try that. The quote, "I did not put my sword down, not for an hour," is not a known or verified statement by Columbus. It is likely a Now, I asked it the other 2 days ago, and it told me the truth. Let me see. Historical records, including experts from Columbus' own journal and accounts from contemporaries like Bartolome de las Casas, which he was a priest that was against what Columbus was doing in killing these people, described his interaction with the indigenous people in very different, often brutal terms. Known historical accounts I just wanted to get that letter. There was a letter that there was an inquiry from the Queen and the King, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, concerning Columbus killing these people off. I put it up there yesterday. It gave me what I wanted, what I was looking for. They do not carry arms. Let me do it this way. Let me try it this way. Okay, where did Christopher Columbus discover? How can I phrase this? Columbus's letter to the Queen and King of Spain. Let's see what this is about. Christopher Columbus wrote letters to the King and Queen Isabella of Spain after his voyage, most famously one in 1493, detailing his first discovery of islands in the Indies, describing the natives as peaceful and proclaiming the potential for gold, setting the stage for Spanish colonization, which is slavery, and expansion with latter letters like one in 1494, focusing on detailed plans to grow in gold, establish. Okay, let me see. Columbus' letter to the Queen and King. Do this. Give me a second, y'all. I'm sorry. Columbus said the people of the island were. I'm sorry. Try it again. Columbus said the natives were hostile. Getting Christopher Columbus actions. Let me do this. Give me a second. Let's try this. Okay. He was killing them, and he told the Queen and the King, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, in a letter that they were hostile, so he had to kill them. But he lied. He said that they were peaceful people. Okay, it says here, so they changed stuff in a day. So Columbus did, however, mention local rumors, right, about a separate, fierce, and man-eating tribe like the Caribs from other islands. He described other natives as being afraid of them, but stating that he did not personally believe these stories and considered them no different from the others. Columbus, I did not put down my sword, no, not for an hour. They took that totally out. Christopher Columbus is in some creative works, not a documented history. So they took that out, man. He was killing them. Let me ask it this way. I'll get back into the video. Did Christopher Columbus kill the natives? Yes, Christopher Columbus and his men killed many indigenous people through a combination of direct violence, forced labor, enslavement, and unintended spread of disease. These actions contributed to the dissemination of the native population in the areas he colonized. Specific atrocities and policies enacted by Columbus and his men included direct killings and brutality during his time as governor of Hispaniola, which is over here in America, Dominican Republic, so you get that island. But he lied, and he said that They were hostile. Let me do this. And the letter to the king and queen of Spain. Let me do this. Yes, Christopher Columbus and his men killed, enslaved, and brutalized indigenous people during their time. It says in this letter to the queen, the king and queen of Spain, after his first voyage, Columbus described the natives as timid, guileless, and suitable for servitude. They're good to make slaves. And conversion to Christianity, but did not mention the extensive brutality that would follow. Yeah, he said in the letter, he said that they were hostile. The natives that I killed, they were hostile. But initially he said, these are peaceful people, they're good people, they will make good slaves. So that's that they speak as a dragon, and it carried from one generation to the next. That spirit is coming back. Let me do this. I'm sorry. Let me do this. So I read Revelation 20 and Revelation 13 and 11, right? Dragon means another name for Satan, the devil. All you got to do is go back to it. So now I'm going to show you this video. And this also deals with Jacob's trouble, because they're going to come hard against us. Let me see. I'm sorry. That's not what I want. Okay, so listen to this. This was put up by GMS Inquirer Early 2. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. All these companies will endorse. I guess he meant to say endorse. That was a typo. The MOTB system. So the MOTB system is being put in place right before your eyes. The reason why these other camps can't see it is I don't know. You got to ask them. I don't know what their problem is. But it's going to be a game changer. So now, listen to this video of the sister here, and then listen to the next video. They're going to pass laws. They're going to pass draconian laws. So just listen.
Social media surveillance program, and you need to know about it. Come on. Let's sit down. I know I was done for tonight, but then, yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. So the U.S.
Fair use, by the way.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE as we know it.
See, people see it coming, but they don't know that it's Jacob's trouble, and that it's mentioned in the scriptures.
Is definitely something I want to be talking about, because we're focused on a lot of things that is currently happening, like the government shutdown. Headlines are focused on that, and the latest drama out of Washington, D.C. with this circus that everyone is currently watching. But I need you all to pay attention to something else that is far more concerning, and that is quietly slipping under the radar, and we all need to know about it. It is about your social media. Come on, sit down. You might want to go in ahead and get you something to drink. That's what I'm getting ready to do. Cheers. Let's get started. So, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is building a 24/7 team to scour TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, and other social media platforms that we're all familiar with around the clock using advanced tracking tools, commercial.
So now you got to be seasoned in what you say. You got to be more to the scriptures. Read the scriptures. Say something. Read the scriptures. Because now they're watching everything.
Data and private contractors. Now, according to federal procurement records and reports reviewed by Reuters and The Intercept, this new unit will run out of ICE's intelligence centers in
Colossians 4, verse 6, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. So we can't be wild. We got to go to the scriptures, answer the scriptures. And, a lot of us kind of lose it a little bit, but they're going to be watching everything now. They're going to be recording. They got one thing, what I hear is from, that they want, if you come into America from another country and you on the web, everybody's on the web, right? Everybody got a laptop, desktop, tablet, smartphone. They want a record of the things that you said or did on your laptop or your desktop for the past 5 years. That's going to come over here too. So you gotta make a statement, go to the news, filter through the scriptures, be more seasoned in your speech. That applies to myself. I get a little, rambunctious sometimes, but you got to be careful now. Let's go ahead and listen.
Vermont and California, with teams of private analysts assigned to monitor public activity online, including videos, comments, and live streams in real time.
Well, breaking, fuck the news. Billionaire Palantir co-founder calls.
Now I said in the title, I said watch the and he shall speak as a dragon, Jacob's trouble, and watch the second video. This is the second video. Breaking news: Palantir called for public hangings and masculine leadership. And I said this years ago, but they're probably going to hang people, but they're going to use that guillotine.
For return to public hangings to show masculine leadership in America.
So this is not America no more. They speaking as a dragon. Came up as a lamb with two horns, and spake as a dragon. They speaking as a dragon now. And so that's an 11th verse of Revelation 13. What's a couple of verses down? It goes into the mark of the beast. They're going to force that. In other words, they're going to make it hard for you not to have that mark. You're going to be off the grid, but some of us will actually be killed, whether it be hanging or the guillotine. The guillotine, they'll probably say the guillotine is a lot better than hanging. They're probably making guillotines right now. In Georgia, the state of Georgia, this went back to when we first got on YouTube in the beginning, where they had a law that they were, what did they say? It was in Georgia, the state of Georgia, where they're building guillotines. And it's out of the news, but this goes back from when we first got on YouTube.
Billionaire co-founder of the software company Palantir has called for the return of public hangings in order to demonstrate masculine leadership. If I'm in charge later, we won't just have 3 strikes law.
So it might be on TV. And people are going to watch it. They're not going to want to watch it, but they're going to watch it. That's changing the whole spirit of the minds of the people. And he spake as a dragon.
We will quickly try to hang men after 3 violent crimes, and yes, we will do it in the public to deter others.
That mean it'll be televised. So every couple of hours you're gonna see somebody. This guy did this, that, and the other. He killed the little white girl. You know, he raped the white woman. This, that, and the third. So we're gonna help. Yeah, hang that nigga. And guess what's it gonna be? It's gonna be the tribes. You get a couple token Edomites being hung, but mostly it's gonna be the tribes. And what they're doing now is demonizing us. So we're coming to the. This thing is going 2026. I see this thing really speeding up. I see this thing going to another gear.
Society needs balance. It's time to bring back masculine leadership to protect our most vulnerable. Lonsdale, who co-founded the Tech Giant alongside with entrepreneurs including Peter Thiel, made the comments in response to the online criticism of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and his attitude to recent military strikes against alleged drug boats. Hegseth was called out for his own online post in which he boasted openly about sinking another narco boat. Online users reacted with outrage, with Claire Lehman, editor of Australian-based libertarian website, describing the post itself as grotesque. So, you know, look, listen, everybody, these people, this is a billionaire's world.
And see, this is the second video. You had the sister, then you had this individual right here, Jake. They're not mentioning the scriptures because they don't know the scripture. Jake don't understand the scriptures. They don't know that everything that's happening is a fulfillment of prophetic scriptures.
You don't got money, you don't have shit. These people are openly calling for things that haven't existed since the 1600s, 17, 1800s. 1800s is a stretch. This is insane.
Yeah, back doing that, we're going 500 years, 400 years, 600 years. We're going into burning a witch at the stake. They would accuse you of being a witch. You'd say, no, I'm not a witch. Yes, you are a witch. We have witnesses that seen you do this, that, and the third. And we're gonna sentence you to death by burning. Hey, they showed you that in the movie, and you can get this movie on YouTube. The movie in its entirety. What is it? Matter of fact, let me go to it. I'm sorry. Let me go. Let me do this. I'm forced to open up another tab. Okay, I don't want this.
How?
What is it called? Conquest of Paradise. Okay, so this is the movie. See, you can buy it here, but you can get it for free. Unless they took it down. What's the name of the movie? The full name is, 1492 Conquest of Paradise. 1492. And this came out in 1992, commemorating 500 years since Christopher Columbus. And there were two movies. This one was starred Debado. Let me see something. Right, Gerard Debado. And there was another one that starred. Okay, what's this? What the hell is this play album? Okay, this is the album, I guess. Okay, but anyway, let me do this again. I put 1492. Let's see if the free one comes up. $14.92 Conquest of Paradise. And this is why in the scriptures the Israelites were being called Gentiles, because they were bugged out like that. You're looking all crazy. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. I want to try to find it. I don't know if I have a copy of it. I believe I do. Okay, this is the album. I wanted the actual video. Please bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. They definitely took it down. Anyway, I'm sorry. So let's come on back. Please forgive me for jumping around like this. This is their last hurrah, so they're coming down hard. Revelation 12 and 12. They know they have a short, the elite know they have a short time.
These are people who consider themselves some sort of royalty, and they consider us peasants.
Trump says he's going to Minnesota to round up the Somalis now, and so expands what the Brennan Center calls the deportation industrial complex.
Yeah, because he started with the Venezuelans and the Latin tribes and Mexicans and so forth. Then he went. He's doing it by classes. Then he's after the Somali people, and then he's gonna be after other people. He's gonna go after Jake too. He's gonna go after If you notice, he's going after people that are not Edomites. He's not going after the KKK. He's not going after the neo-Nazi party. You know, he's not going after racism. He's not defending people that are victims of racism by so-called whites. He's just going after the dark nations. So now he's going after a particular group of Hamites, and he's just kicking them out. Oh, he's saying that the birthright, you have a Mexican that comes over here, they have children born in America, those children grow up, they have children, so you have third generation of Mexicans in America. They can sweep them up too. And there's a new thing called, it's an old idea, but he put his name on it, he stamped his name on it, which is the Trump you have the Monroe Doctrine, and you have the Trump Doctrine. Let me see here. What is the Trump Doctrine? The Trump Doctrine isn't a single formal policy, but an informal foreign policy approach centered on America first, meaning European American first, white people. Make America Great Again is to make America white again. Prioritizing U.S. economic and national interests, questioning traditional alliances, promoting transactional relationships, demanding burden sharing from allies, and favoring bilateral deals over multilateralism, often marked by unpredictably, and a shift away from promoting democracy. Get away from democracy. So he's thinking like a king. Abroad to focus on trade and national strength. Recent, late 2025 strategy documents emphasize revitalizing the Monroe Doctrine in the Western Hemisphere, strong deterrence and economic security, realism, creating a tougher stance on allies and competitors alike. Let's go to the Monroe Doctrine. So this is based on the Monroe Doctrine. Monroe Doctrine meaning a principle of U.S. policy originated by President James Monroe in 1823 that any intervention by external powers in the politics of America is potentially hostile act against the U.S. That any intervention by external powers, other nations, in the politics of the Americas is a potentially hostile act. So as far as any other nation, he's going after, perfect example, going after Venezuela. Oh, the president of Venezuela, he's shipping drugs up here, so we're going to go after him. What is the Monroe Doctrine? Simple terms. Let's look that up. So you got a lot of you brothers out there teaching, and you just hit the script. Give me that script and give me that precept, and this means this and that means that. But when it comes to the MOTB, you can't see it. You can't see it. That's how we know that the Lord ain't the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai is not dealing with you, because you would clearly see it. It said in simple terms, the Monroe Doctrine 1823 was a U.S. policy warning European powers, other Edomites, to stay out of the Americas, Western Hemisphere, and stop colonizing or interfering with newly independent nations. Because what happened? When they got over here, they had the 13 colonies from Great Britain. They broke off from Great Britain, which became a continent. You had what was called a Continental Congress, and you had the presidents of the Continental Congress. One of them was a Jake. Was this guy Henson? John Henson, I believe his name is. They got him looking like an Edomite, but he's actually a Jake. They had the French-American War, and they had the Spanish-American War to do what? To push out the Spanish and to push out the French. And they already pushed out the Great Britain. It says independent nations, while the U.S. promised to stay out of European affairs, essentially creating separate spheres of influence. That's why ultimately the NATO nations and the EU nations that possess these missiles in Russia and China and Pakistan and India is going to shoot missiles on this place. We keep going to the same script. The same scriptures keep coming to life, and if you notice, we go into a lot of prophecy. You got to go into prophecies are coming to pass. So that's what we're going to speak on. It says it declared the Americas closed to new European colonies and viewed any attempt to control the region as a hostile act against the U.S. So they're isolating themselves against the whole planet. That's why those arrows are going to come from different directions. The arrows are going to come from the east of, let's say, Russia to the west of America, which is California and the Bible Belt. Then you got on the other side of the world, you got the Arab countries. They're going to shoot missiles from the west to the east, and the Arab countries from the east to from the west to the uttermost west, right? So from the east, missiles are going to come. I'm talking about the East Coast to the Bible Belt. From the west, missiles are going to come from the West Coast to the Bible Belt. So it's not going to be coming from one direction. Everybody says it's Russia. No, it's not just Russia. It's every nation outside of America that possess these long-range missiles. But before that happens, everybody's got to get microchipped. And the ones that don't accept the microchip, some of you are gonna get your head chopped off. That includes any of us. So get that in your mind state. You can be be on the noose, getting hung, and they got the power to do it. We don't have the power. We don't have the power to do that. Isaac gave Esau the sword. That's his blessing. We don't have. You have Jake that know how to use it, but they don't have the power that Esau has with that sword. So let me come on back over here. Where am I? Okay, here we go. Deportation and industrial complex. Okay.
Complex. Did you ever wonder who's benefiting the most from all these ICE raids? Well, we all know that this corrupt administration is fueled by the profit motive first and foremost. And that big ugly bill that they pushed through this summer gave them the keys to the kingdom. Now, keep in mind, this is not monopoly money. These are your tax dollars being spent to kidnap, detain, and terrorize people while...
And why? Because if you understood the scriptures, you would know how to filter what's happening around you through the scriptures. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I sound like a broken record. I believe that they're going to let a lot of those Latin tribes back in, but they have to get the chip. And guess what? They're going to say, where do I sign up?
Throwing out due process, which is a constitutional right. Be prepared to be pissed. Now
yeah, but they don't follow the Constitution. Everything that this guy's been doing, he's going in contrary to the Constitution. People are afraid of this guy.
Big Ugly Bill allocated $170 billion of your money to be used for immigration and border enforcement. And remember, Trump filed appeal after appeal to avoid having to pay SNAP benefits this fall because we supposedly couldn't afford it. Well, $75 billion of that Big Ugly Bill money was earmarked specifically for ICE. And in addition to paying masked thugs massive signing bonuses and annual salaries to terrorize.
And I can understand Edomites becoming ICE agents, but I can't understand Jake becoming ICE agents. That's just not in your nature. You know this shit is wrong. Esau don't give a fuck. You pay him, how much am I paying him? Where do I sign up? What do I got to do? Kill people? Look at this. Signing bonus $50,000, student loan repayment $60,000, 25% premium pay. So they're getting paid, and a lot of these Edomites are losing jobs. So they got the opportunity to make good money. They're making more money than anybody in the military. Former military, most of these guys are military and so forth. Retired cops. Because they don't care about people. They don't care about separating a grandfather and a abuelo from their children and their grandchildren. They know he's not here illegally. We taking him back to Mexico. You got the kids. They don't care. They don't give a shit. They're showing you the true nature of this man.
Rise black and brown people, there are a lot of private companies that are experiencing a windfall by signing lucrative contracts with ICE. Now, we talked about the private detention companies, Core Civic and Geo Group, in a previous video.
The thing about a private detention facilities is they want to make maximum profit. So they don't want to have one empty cell, because that's a loss of profit. So if you don't break the law, they're gonna falsely charge you. But then you got people that talk about the Edomites can make it.
But they are far from the only private companies that have decided to cast their lot with ICE. Who else is on that list? I'm glad you asked. Up first is Palantir, Peter Thiel's company. They've got $88.1 million in ICE contracts. They're a surveillance company that's helping ICE to
and Palantir simply means to see far. So if you commit a crime, you leave out, you go to Mexico, they can track you through this technology.
Monitor people's locations in near real time. Next is Dell Federal Systems, and yes, they are a subsidiary of that Dell. They've got $20 million in ICE contracts. Thomson Reuters Special Services, owned by Thomson Reuters, who also owns Reuters News, has $19.7 million in IT contracts with ICE. And Charter Communications, AT&T, and Comcast all have contracts with ICE to provide IT services.
You know what? You can be doing a live stream, and all of a sudden your dog can get busted in the middle of your live stream, and they just grab you up. Because they're doing it in real time. You remember he said he'd been talking about it about a month ago, having National Guards throughout all the states. What was it called? Quick Response Forces.
Deloitte Counseling, owned by Deloitte & Touche, has a $132.4 million contract to provide everything from accounting services to PR to program management and evaluation. Ernst & Young has ICE contracts worth $10.3 million. And there are tons of other companies providing ICE with everything from tasers to IT support to video recording equipment to weapons. It really does take a village. If you're as disgusted by all of this as I am, firstly, share this video to help increase awareness of how the profit motive is driving this whole farce. Then go to the link in my bio or in the comments to sign the petition to get ICE off our streets.
That's not going to help. That's not going to help. What you people got to do is wake up to the fact that you're the Israelites. It says in the Solomon's prayer, King Solomon's prayer, in 1 Kings chapter 8, it says, if if the enemy comes against you, if you're put in captivity, you suffer captivity. If you call on the name of the Lord will come. So none of you buck up again. We tell you Israelite, you want to. The same Negroes that's talking this shit is the same Negroes that say something about these Hebrew Israelites, man. We ain't Hebrew Israelites. So you're keeping us here. If all Israel's in unison called on the name of Yahweh Bashim, well, that's not going to happen because Nate ain't calling on the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
10,000 of you have signed this petition already. The more signatures we get, the more likely that decision makers are to see it. We're talking about state and local officials, federal government officials, and the CEOs of several of these corporations that are financially profiting from these illegal raids. This horror is being waged in our name and with our money. We have a responsibility to do everything we can to stop it. Go to the link in my bio or in the comments to sign the petition to get ICE off our streets. Let's keep fighting.
Uh-oh.
Our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, giving double honors to the men that taught us His truth, who are worthy of double honor, our apostles and our elders of the Church of Great Millstone, which is based out of New York, who are ruling well, not forgetting our bishops and elders that are out in Connecticut, who are worthy of double honor as well. Shalom, peace and love be unto you. Shalom, peace and love be unto all of the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. A lot of these companies, well, all of these companies will invest in the chip. All of these companies will invest in the chip.
Yeah, because it ties everything together. It's called the internet. What is it? The internet. The internet of everything. What do you call it? Internet. The internet of everything. IOE, I believe. IOE is the internet of everything. That's when they put the chip in.
All of the companies that are aforesaid mentioned are within these videos that you're going to see are going to endorse the chip. What is the chip? The chip is the implantable microchip, or whether it be the brain chip or whether it be the RFID chip, which in prophecy is the mark of the beast. All right, in which further mentioning this, I will address it as the MOTB. So all of these companies will endorse or invest in the MOTB. So look up the word invest. The word invest is defined as expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting it into financial plans, providing or endow someone or something with a particular quality or attribute. All right, really, to simply to put it, to put money in, to invest money in, just like they're endorsing and backing Palantir, or ICE rather. They're backing ICE, okay? Which you have a lot of tech companies that are providing ICE, with, technology,
I'm just going to let this play because I'm in the middle of something. I'm going to let this play.
Providing them, with different things that they need to pretty much spy and gather data on, or go after what they would consider immigrants. Okay? And this whole system, that's going on right now, is ultimately the beginning of what we understand in the scriptures as the time of Jacob's trouble. And very soon, all right, they're going to implement what is known as the mark of the beast, all right, the MOTB. So you have, all right, according to this Eve, which was bringing out information, concerning Trump, and the big beautiful bill and how it gives ICE unprecedented funds to wrap up mass deportation campaign. So according to the information that she brung out, which there's actual articles on these things, Trump got 170 billion for immigration. Now he has to enact it, which they say that 75 billion of those dollars, all right, went directly to ICE. And there's companies that's working hand in hand with ICE, such as Palantir, and other so named companies, you know, that was named within the video. You can go back and look at the video. You know, so everyone has a hand, all right, in this particular, you know, system, all right, or this operation rather. All right, so they're all benefiting. All right, there's a Latin word. The word is que bono, or qui bono. And what does qui bono mean in Latin? Qui bono or que bono es una forma, all right, incorrecta de la frase latina, all right, qui bono, all right, que or qui significa, and it's coming up in Spanish, but basically it mentions or who benefits. Let's go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. A principle that probable responsibility for an act or event lies with one having something to gain. So who's benefiting? You know? Now, the whole situation of ICE, you know, going through these various different cities and gathering up Judah, you know, gathering up Benjamin, gathering up Levi, and also gathering up the 10 tribes. All right. There's a scripture for that, and that's the book of Jeremiah, the 5th chapter, and the 6th verse. It says, "Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased." And that leopard, you know, is symbolic, you know, or prophetic for these different agencies. All right, the police, all right, the DEI, you know, or whatever it's called. You know, the FBI, you know, the CIA. All right. And now you can add ICE in there. All right. You can add ICE in there. All right. Which is another agency. And they don't show any mercy at all. And the time is going to come when they're going to use pretty much lethal force. You know, I seen a video where Mississippi legislators are basically trying to give ICE permission, you know, or rather bounty hunters, the permission to round up illegal aliens and do whatever the hell that they want to with them. You know, if they're in their possession, you know, they can unalive them without any penalty. If they're found on any of their properties, they could do whatever they want while that person is in their possession. You know, so one of the main individuals, you know, that's backing or helping out ICE, all right, is the co-founder of Palantir. And give me just a sec. Because I want to bring something up on that person, which you have Peter Thiel, right? And Peter Thiel, and I get this from the Independent, which I'll put all of the articles that I quoted in the description box. All right, Peter Thiel, billionaire Palantir co-founder, calls for return of public hangings to show masculine leadership in America. All right, and this is from December 8th, 2025. You know, so if they would go as far as to say this or do this, then it's not far-fetched, is it, that they will perform public beheadings. all right, which they have the equipment for it. All right, America has tons of guillotines that they can use for this purpose. All right, and who are they going to come after? Well, they're going to come after the ones that they consider treasonous. All right, the guilty of the crime of treason. All right, which is similar to what the apostles, all right, went through when they didn't support Rome and they supported, all right, Yahushua, all right, in the kingdom of the Israelites by way of Yahushua over that of Rome. So they were guilty of treason against Rome. That's the reason why they brought Yahushua forth.
Yeah, sedition. Sedition is when you stir up the crowd to riot. And they'll arrest you and you say, I didn't do nothing. Yeah, but you stir up the crowd. That's what that. So that is saying, when you look it up, they're saying that Paul and Peter and the apostles were not charged with sedition. No, they were charged with sedition. Whether they want to call it something else. Because what the apostles were talking about, how a new king's going to come and take over the whole world. And Esau looks at things on a physical level. So that means this guy's going to come down with an army and take over the Roman Empire. That's what happened. They didn't understand. Esau is not a spiritual person. That's how we know that Cornelius is not an Edomite. Edomites are not spiritual people. They're carnal people, man. They're logical people. They don't think with a spiritual mind.
And they tried to get the Romans to kill him, basically saying that, look, this man said that Caesar isn't his king. So the time is coming when they're gonna, us as believers, we're gonna have to suffer, all right, for righteousness' sake. The book of Revelation 20 and verse 4, and I saw the throne and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls, all right, of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, all right, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark in their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Yahushua Mashiach 1,000 years.
And according to Bishop Nate, this idiot, he thinks that after the first 1,000 years of us ruling the kingdom, it tells you in St. John, Revelation 21 that the spirit of the Father, the spirit of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, we're going to feel their presence. We're going to have spiritual power as well. It says no weapon formed against us shall prosper especially when the kingdom comes. So he's saying that we're going to be in the kingdom for 1,000 years, and then after 1,000 years, you go to Revelation 20 verse 7. He said they're going to come up after the 1,000 years was expired. It's not talking about the 1,000 years in verse 4, dummy. It's talking about the 1,000 years in the first 2 verses of Revelation 20. The 1,000 years that they were put a chain around them, it was a spiritual chain, was during the time, really it started during the time of 96 AD all the way up to the mid-1400s. When the mid-1400s to the late 1400s, that's when they were loose from their prison. Hence, it goes from the answer to Revelation 20 verse 1 and 2 is Revelation 20 verse 7. Revelation 20 verse 4 is going to take place after Revelation 20 verse 7 and 8 takes place. Revelation 20 verse 7 and 8 is talking about this battle, and that's when this place is going to be taken down. So this guy doesn't understand. The spirit is not working with this guy. What he mostly does, the things that he teach, he regurgitated what he learned from myself and others that were over him, and the 7. And a lot of times he goes off, and the 7 were off on certain things, like the Cornelius thing. That's why he couldn't see it at first. I just had to say that. Please forgive me.
So they're going to do public beheadings as well. All right, and the reason behind them wanting to do this is that if somebody is guilty of committing a crime, with 3 strikes, that basically if they did this public hanging, then that would deter other people from wanting to commit crimes too. But the thing about systems like this, it can be abused. And if you take someone's life away innocently, all right, and it comes out later that they wasn't guilty, then basically you can't give them their life back. But they don't care about that anyway. All right? So if they'll do public hangings, which they're calling for this, then they would do public beheadings. And the time is going to come when they're going to behead people publicly for not receiving the mark of the beast. All right, which is the MOTB, which is the ultimate form of showing your allegiance to this beast system. All right, to this great whore that rules over the nations. So going from here, there's a final thing. And basically, in this video, there's a woman that's speaking about how Palantir is working with these different social media websites, and basically they're going to set up it to be monitored 24/7. Which they also want you to use your ID and address, all right, in order to set up social media accounts in the future. And if so, you won't be able to, get on there. So basically, if you're in there looking at something that's controversial, or you post something that's controversial, look, they on your head immediately. So I want to go from here to the book of Psalms, the 56th chapter, verse 1 through 11. And I'm going to read in the NLT, because the stage is set, for, us to suffer. But although we're going to suffer, and people are going to come after us, we're not afraid of what mortal man can do unto us. Because we trust in Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, all right, who is able to save us and deliver us, all right, from the hand of the wicked. So Psalms 56:1, for the choir director, a psalm of David regarding the time the Philistine seized him in Gath, to be sung to the tune, Dove on Distant Oaks. Okay, power, okay, the Most High, have mercy on me. Salakia, O power, have mercy on me, for people are hounding me. My foes attack me all day long. I am constantly hounded by those who slander me, and many are boldly attacking me. But when I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. I praise the Most High for what he has promised. I trust the Most High, so why should I be afraid? What can mere mortals do to me? They are always twisting what I say. They spend all, their days plotting to harm me. So this is what these individuals are doing. All right, and all of the plans that they come up with, they're not telling this to the public. Like when they have their summits or their meetings, there's certain things that they disclose into the public, but behind the closed doors, all right, that's where the real talks happen. They come together to spy on me, watching my every step, eager to kill me. So see, let's say, for instance, this is your third time, saying something about the American government, and that's considered treason. So now, for a person like that, do you behead them? Do you hang them? All right. Remember what it says within the book of Revelation. All right. What is that? The 13th chapter. All right. It says that that there was a new beast that came up that had horns like a lamb, but it spake as a dragon. All right. They're beginning to speak as that dragon. So reading on, they come together to spy on me, watching my every step, eager to kill me. Don't let them get away with their wickedness. In your anger, O power, bring them down. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. My enemies will retreat when I call to you for help. I know power is on my side. I praise the Most High for what he has promised. Yes, I praise Yahweh for what he has promised. I trust in the Most High, so why should I be afraid? What can mere mortals do to me? So that's the question. All right, you can bring your MOTB system. You can bring your public hangings. You can bring your public beheadings. All right, you can watch over us like a leopard watches over a city. All right, but you're still not going to get the victory. All right, America is going down, and the elect will be delivered and protected. All right, by way of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. So, with that, all of these countries, companies, are going to endorse the CHIP. And as you can see, there's a system that's being established. All right, and this is known as the MOTB system. You know, another thing I didn't mention in this video, which I'll do something else.